Hi, I'm Dave. I'm Design Director at GBH, and I've been at the company nearly 6 years now, and I'm here today judging the Brand Impact Awards.
Hi, I'm Sue Daun. I'm the Executive Creative Director of Interbrand London, also here judging the Brand Impact Awards.
I mean, risk taking is something that we do actually day in, day out. We don't pick and choose when to take risks.
Great way of describing it. I think for us it helps us to tell a story for our clients. So quite often risk is when we push them way outside of their brief, and quite often go in with a solution that perhaps challenges and reframes their brief massively. The art of great risk kind of win is if you can take them a bit on that journey as well, so that they feel confident that it's not really a risk, that actually it's taking their brief and turning it on its head. And I think for us, risk is always, we're lucky being a bigger agency, we can kind of, we're proven in terms of our track record, and quite often they'll listen to us if we tell them that it's going to be okay. So for us, risk is you always go in with your heart pounding and you're kind of excited because you've really got a great idea that you want to take the client on this kind of journey again, as Dave says, to kind of deliver the best work you possibly can to push them. But it's always the thrill. When you go in with a risky solution, for us it's a thrill and that's what makes our job so amazing, because we kind of absolutely love taking it to the next level. So
I think that's a really good point as well. You have to rely on the client as well to believe in you. You know, you do great work because of good relationship with the client, and getting them on board and believe in you know, the truth of the idea. That's when you sort of make the best work, and it kind of cuts through.
I think as a big network and with a proven track record that is underpinned by measurement and analytics as well as kind of creativity, we're able to get our clients to buy braver, because I think, as David said earlier, it's kind of sometimes quite hard to push a client if they're not a brave client. But having the weight of a business like Interbrand behind us, they tend to sit back and listen, and we don't have to work that hard to push them a little bit further than perhaps they're willing to go. It also can play negatively to us, because they sometimes come because they want a trusted kind of formulaic solution, but it's very rare that we'll give them exactly that. So the challenge for us is that sometimes we have to kind of take them on a longer journey to push them a little bit further. So
I mean, I think for us, because we're a slightly smaller studio, we're independent, we can sort of pick and choose, you know, when to take the risks. We've got a bit more creative freedom perhaps. But I mean, as I said earlier, I think we just listen to the idea, let that lead, and that determines whether we take risks or not, and always do what's right for the work. I mean, also, you know, we work on a big range of projects, from small, where you can have a bit more freedom to take risks, but also really big campaigns for, you know, clients such as Puma, Virgin Galactic, and actually it's those bigger jobs where they want to take, you know, there's more of a presence, there's an opportunity to take bigger risks. So one that springs to mind for me is Inglorious Fruit and Veg from a couple of years ago, which rolled out in supermarkets, Intermarché across France. I think that's a really good example of risk taking, where they put these kind of ugly, misshapen fruit and veg in their aisles and encouraged people to buy them. And it could so easily have had the opposite effect of turning people away. But there's real confidence and belief in that idea, and actually sort of photographing the misshapen fruit and veg and putting it at the heart of the campaign. And that's a real kind of, you have to have real confidence to have sort of executed that. I think that's a really good example.
A good example is Harvey Nichols, when they did, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago as well, they did the Sorry I Spent It On Myself campaign, and they took it right the way through, not just campaign, but on pack, in items in store, really kind of tugged at your heartstrings, but just in a tongue-in-cheek way. And for a luxury brand to treat the design in such a brutal way, I was judging another award where there was a kind of very high individual from India who came over, and she was didn't get it at all. could not understand the nuances of how this was playing into the consumer, but they stuck with it. It was such a fantastic two fingers up to the luxury industry, and had quite a kind of almost a kind of opposite effect. It kind of drew people in who perhaps weren't kind of buying into the Harvey Nichols brand in the kind of the first instance, but really gave them an opportunity to kind of experience something different. I think from a negative point of view, maybe there are quite a lot. We've all probably done stuff that's taken things too far, and we've certainly done it where we've pushed the client, and they've kind of reared back because we've taken them too far. I think a good example is maybe Hyundai a couple of years ago did an advert where they had a guy in his car in a garage appearing to commit suicide. And it was to promote the 100% emissions-free car. And you can imagine how many people that would affect negatively, and the immediate outpouring publicly. And because we're such a kind of see and release our feelings now in social media, the kind of impact was terrible for Hyundai, and it was taken immediately off screen, but has had such a lasting impact because you can associate with it, and you realise that's such a I mean, to choose that type of subject matter for a commercial purpose. I mean, the idea behind it was fundamentally flawed, let alone the execution of it. Yeah. So risk is absolutely integral to our business that we're in creativity. It's what gets us up in the morning. Yeah. That's what makes us really exciting.
It's what makes it interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.